You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in San Diego. Have no fear. Mr. Credit and Brooke are here, bringing you the most important hour in radio. We're telling you everything, folks. We're telling you everything. They don't want you to know. When we say they, we're talking about the Wall Street gangsters, the government, the banks, the credit bureaus, the media, or anybody else who's trying to take your hard-earned money by either misinforming you or just flat-out lying. Visit MrCreditRadio.com. if you want to send me an email, or do a Facebook search for Mr. Credit, and you will find me there. Padres won last night, 6-1. My prediction was a 9-2er, so I kind of had the right idea down. We were never in doubt about that victory. And I think the same thing is going to happen tonight as well. Today it's actually a 3:35 game right here on San Diego 1700. Last game with the Dodgers, the rubber match, to see who wins the series. We do still have a 2.5 game lead over San Francisco for the NL West and a 6-game lead over LA. So we're looking good. Got the game this afternoon. It's at 3:35. If you can't make it down to Petco, if you're at work, if you're driving home, whatever it may be, check out all the Padres action right here on San Diego 1700. So save the station in your dial. I'll tell you what, we got a lot of things going on today, and I'm gonna veer to the left real quick here, or to the right, or to the middle, whichever way you want to call it. But our president today is going on The View, which I don't even watch that program. I have no idea what it is. Brick, do you watch that program? You don't watch that? I have no idea what it is. But my understanding is that it's kind of like an Oprah-style show, but it's a panel of people. I think Whoopi Goldberg is on there.
Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters is on The View.
It's her
Okay,
show.
I got some respect for Barbara. But here's my problem. Of all the things, if you're the President of the United States,
so I know whose ass to kick,
and you're trying to figure out what you should be doing today, what's the most productive thing that you can do, why would the President make the selection, or why would his people choose for him to go on to this program? What would possibly be the reason that we could think that the best use of the President's time today would be to go on to some program like this, where it's undoubtedly going to be one softball after the other thrown to him question-wise. It's undoubtedly something that's politically been postured and framed around the idea of, hey, you know, what kind of agenda do you want to get across, and I'll come on the show and do it type thing. So, I'm trying to figure out why that would be the case. Well, let's think about it. What else could he have done today? Well, there was the 100th reunion of the Boy Scouts deal that he decided to skip out on. Screw the Boy Scouts. We're more. It's more important to go on The View. I don't know. How about one of the wars that we're in, or the economy, or the fact that the Dow Jones is at 10,500, which makes absolutely no sense at all. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Remember at the peak of the economy, the Dow got to 14,000, and that was too expensive. That was too expensive when the Dow was at 14,000 at the peak of the economy. Now we're at 10.5. Joke. I'm not a financial advisor, people, but I can tell you one thing right now. If I owned any stocks, which I already got rid of them all when it hit 10,000 the first time, I would sell them so fast right now it would make your head spin, and I'd be in cash so fast that my broker wouldn't even be able to say anything on the telephone. But the point that I'm bringing up to you is what is really happening here? Why would the President be going on The View? Well, here's the reason. This administration has a significant amount of agendas that they're trying to convey to the American public. They really want us to be tricked, and they have decided in this case that it is more important to maintain the idea of projecting that agenda than it is to actually focus on what the problems are. See, what happens in the world of politics, and the reason why I don't like it, and the reason why I don't talk about it much, and I apologize for having to say this today, but the reason I don't talk about it much is because it's ugly. No one wants to hear it. The President is he's like the CEO of a company. Remember that conversation yesterday? He's the fall guy. Something goes wrong, he's like the quarterback of a team. except for he's not really calling the shots. He's actually just a puppeteer or a puppet. And his administration and the people he surrounds him with are the ones who make the decisions for him, because he can't possibly digest all that information and make all the decisions and know everything about what's going on, because he's got too many places where he's got to be the face guy. So his people have told him that he needs to go do this show today. I'm not saying he made that decision consciously himself, but they've decided to continue the message of, hey, everything's good.
Look, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. Trust me.
Yeah, just trust us. Everything's going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. Hey, we've been here before. Things aren't as good as they should be. We haven't recovered as quickly as we should have. We can't figure out exactly why. We keep printing money and throwing money at it, and that's not working. We're giving away health care. We're taxing people more. I can't figure out why it's not working. Well, it's pretty obvious, okay, that none of those things are actually solutions to the problem. And it bothers me that the control that the administration can have in a situation like this, where they want to go and project these images. Now, I'm going to play some things most likely from what was said on there tomorrow on the show, just to kind of give you an idea of some of the things that I'm talking about. I think the best thing that you can do in a situation like that, if you are capable of watching it without any bias and understand that there's an attempt there to be sold, go in there with your gloves up, with your hands up, the same way you would if you walked into a car lot or something, and don't just take his word for bond. Because recently, this week, there were 76,000 documents, confidential documents regarding the war in Afghanistan that were released, stolen. 76,000 documents. If I were the president, the commander-in-chief, the ultimate highest power in the United States military, I would have, I'd be locked in a room until we got to the absolute bottom of that. 76,000 documents that were all confidential. Wow, what are we doing on The View? Holy mackerel. I would love to get your comments. A lot of people ask me a lot of questions through emails. They send me stuff and say, hey, I would like to get your opinion on this, or I'd like you to talk about this. And I don't really like to get into these things, but when this many people say something, I got to. I'm never afraid to tell you what I think. We're just trying to help you save money here. We're trying to help you be informed. But I have to say that this is stupid. It's stupid.
Such an idiot.
It's dumb for us to be wasting time like that when there's more important things, obviously, going on. And I cannot wrap my finger around why in the world this can be gotten away with. I do not understand it. And maybe you're wondering the same thing. How can they get away with this? Well, how do any of these guys get away with any of this stuff? How does anybody get away with it? Let me tell you something right here. Equifax, okay? One of our favorite little credit bureaus out of Atlanta. Now, there's three major credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Equifax is the one that's publicly traded here in the States. Experian is one it's a publicly traded company over in Europe. And TransUnion is privately owned. Okay? So Equifax reported second quarter revenue. $460 million. The first quarter they got like $463 million. Isn't that funny? $460 million, up 7% from second quarter of 2009. And here's the thing: for 3 months they're making $460 million. The majority of the way they're making this money is by selling your information, or by providing these credit services to different lenders, lending agencies, and service providers who require lending as a part of their platform. And in the end, they're completely immune to this economy? How could this be? Well, this is the reason why. The credit bureaus are constantly looking for new products, and there's always going to be businesses looking for customers, looking for you. They're looking for you. And what the bureaus have found is that the more ways that they help these businesses find you, the more stable their incomes will be. But the more that they can grow in a good economy, and the more they can stabilize in a bad one. So what they've found is that it's just their niche to make money by selling companies your information. Now, you can opt out from this service. You can go to optoutprescreen.com and fill in the electronic opt-out for 5 years, and you have to mail something in to do it permanently. But go ahead and do the electronic one first. Get that taken care of.